What is going on today, everybody? What's up? Mike Clark, first one in the house. Today we are going to be doing something a little bit different. I saw yesterday a video that really intrigued me. Honestly, I was just scrolling through and I saw Long Island Audit. I saw Long Island Audit. Sean Paul Reyes. I saw he was going live, and I saw a really interesting title. Um, it being who I am, I really look up to Long Island Audit. I watched a lot of his content for a long time. He's something that is someone that I tried to emulate as far as being as knowledgeable as he is and conducting himself in a calm demeanor as he does. And watching this video, it was kind of sad, unfortunately. So I am going to be I'll be sharing the screen here in a second, but just waiting for a couple people to join in here. What's up, Louie? What's up, John Eagle? How we doing? What's up, everybody? But yeah, so it was kind of sad to see. So with Sean Paul Reyes, with him having attorney shield and everything like that, you would think that he is a very knowledgeable person. And he ran into a situation where he was in Ulster County, I believe, in Illinois. I think it was Ulster County. We'll get to the video here in a minute. Where he was threatened with arrest either outside or inside of a courtroom. Obviously, unfortunately, the video was deleted. He did not keep the video. He did not stand on his rights. Ultimately, I believe he folded. He absolutely folded. And we'll show what happened in this situation. We'll cover it. I'll show the video. I won't talk too much about it, but I just wanted to lay out the situation about what we got going on here today. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Louis Z Accountability, what's up? Isaac Rodriguez, thank you for being here. Got a lot of regular people in here. Thanks, everybody, for being here. But so let me just start sharing my screen here. But it's really sad. It's really sad to see. I won't share too much. I don't know if you guys have seen it just yet.
Behind me is the Lake County Sheriff's Department here in the state of Illinois. Unfortunately, my rights were violated on May 23rd, Friday. Just getting around to getting to the Sheriff's Department. I got to tell you guys exactly what happened. Right down the road from here, just a few hundred feet, I was at the Adult Probation Department for Lake County, exercising my First Amendment right. I was made aware of some complaints against the probation department, so I went there as an independent journalist to investigate the matter and exercise my First Amendment rights. That being said, as soon as I entered into the probation department, security officer told me that it was prohibited from me recording there. He showed me a sign. I have seen many signs in the last 4 years. All of them were unconstitutional signs, and I didn't think much of it. I said, oh, here we go. The assistant director, Jeff Ross, came out of the probation department and he told me, hey, there's a sign. We're here to protect people's privacy in public. Same old script. Things escalated when Deputy Michael Bassey of the Lake County Sheriff's Department arrived on scene. He told me that it was a court order. Now that I'm aware that it's a court order, as you guys all know, I do not take court orders lightly, administrative orders by judges, because they have way too much power. They can hold you in contempt of court, and it's over from there. There's really not much you can do. So I was going to leave. I said, well, I'll leave. Deputy Bassey of the Lake County Sheriff's Department said, no, you can't leave. You have to permanently delete the footage from your camera. I was like, well, that's absurd. We went outside.
And I couldn't agree more with Sean Paul Reyes here. Like I just saw, Isaac Rodriguez said, this man was who I started watching these audits. And absolutely, I agree. He was one of the primary people, one of the first people that I started watching. And as you'll see here, he actually decided. So he just said he was threatened with arrest if he did not sit and go into his phone and delete the video off of his phone. Now, I've never been in that exact situation, but if I was put in that, if if I was put in that situation, I definitely would not have folded the way he did and delete the video off my phone. Now, I don't know what he had to do. He starts to explain it, doesn't really get too much into depth on why he folded and why he couldn't take the arrest here. But being who you are and being as big as you are, he goes into it later. He says his channel is at almost 1 million subscribers, which it is. He's gained about 2,000 subscribers at least since this video has dropped, since he dropped this video. And it's quite crazy. He gets into him owning Attorney Shield and how you can contact them to determine your legal standing in a situation and see what their advice would be. And it's insane. The co-owner of this company, it's insane that either A, he would not use his own company, use his own product and get the advice he so clearly needed in this situation, and B, if he did use this product and use Attorney Shield, would these people at Attorney Shield have told him to delete this video under threat of arrest? Would they have told him to delete the video? It's just kind of absolutely outrageous to me. And just so further absolutely sets my claims in stone that, unfortunately, to anybody who believes Mr. Sean Paul Reyes here, as I once way back in the day did, that I am the best of the best in this. As far as being in Illinois, man, Sean Paul Reyes, you should have hit me up. I would have came and backed you up. You could have airdropped me the video and then taken the ride, bro, and done what you need to do. But man, let me tell you something. For you to fold under that pressure, just being told that you're going to go to jail if you don't go and delete the video off your phone is kind of crazy. It's kind of outrageous, man. I've been in heated situations. I've been in one heated situation. I'll recap it. I'll recap it in a little bit. It's really unfortunate because I was followed. I've been in a scary situation like that myself. I've been followed by the police after I left the bank. I walked back to my car that was in a McDonald's parking lot. And I had actually asked the workers there if it was okay at the time if I had parked my car there and left it there while I was out doing my filming. That's how I usually do it. So just in case, I'm always recording. I always have that recording saved just in case the cops want to pull up into the private property that I'm in and want to say that I had no business being there, because I absolutely do. I ask every single time, and that's how realistically, I shouldn't even be saying that, because I'm sure that they watch my channel, and now that they know I do that, they probably won't try to pull it now. But with I absolutely would have came and backed him up and held his phone or did whatever I had to do. But for him to just fold under this pressure like that is absolutely crazy. So I'll let him get back to explaining a little bit
on the public sidewalk, just like this. Again, this happened just a few hundred feet from here. We're on the public sidewalk. I said, well, am I being detained? He says, yes, you're being detained right now. I said, oh, okay. And he's like, well, you need to delete your footage from your phone.
And, I forgot to finish the thought, and I just saw the comment. Claudette, you reminded me here. There is no need to get arrested. Absolutely, there is no need to get arrested. And if you, Claudette, I'm sure Claudette here is a regular, and thank you very much for being here. I'm sure you remember the video where I was followed into that McDonald's parking lot, and the officer told me that if I wasn't going to give my ID, that I would have been arrested. And I was in the car with my keys in the ignition, sitting in the parking lot, sitting in the driver's seat. So knowing that information, knowing that I was in the right, I was absolutely in the right when I was told that I was scaring people and I needed to give up my ID, I knew that was not a crime. And sometimes you have to act for, I'm not just going to go to try to get arrested every single time. If it doesn't make sense, it doesn't make sense. But this right here, for him to say that he took the fall, or he didn't take the arrest because he had something to do or something. There has to be more to the story. There really has to be a lot more to the story that he's not letting out. I don't know what it is he could be hiding. I'm not going to make any allegations as far as what I think it could be. You guys can speculate for yourselves. I just wanted to really bring it out there and really show what my opinion was of this, because like Claudette said, I understand there is not a reason to be arrested. That's not the goal. That's not why I go out and do what I do. And it's been shown where I've made the decision to simply give up my ID when they're asking me for it, because he wanted to do it to prove a point. So all I did was call his bluff. I gave him my ID. I don't know what exactly he was checking for, or I personally don't care. They can run my name through the system and put it in their database of names that they've ever looked at, and that's good for them, because I go out and, just as Sean Paul Reyes does, he doesn't even really have a choice. He's got almost, like he says, almost 1 million subscribers on YouTube. So people in the police industry and the government agencies and stuff like that, they know who this dude is. They know exactly who this dude is. When he walks, he has a very recognizable look. He is a very recognizable guy. You're not going to mistake him for anybody else, especially being how big he is. So for him to just fold under that kind of pressure is just absolutely, it's crazy. It's crazy. Man, I support him too, Steve. I support him too. And I don't want you guys to think I'm trying to bash Sean Paul Reyes here, but it just really doesn't make any sense. It really is just a question. Why would you not take it? Realistically, I just want I want the end of the story. I want the reason why he did this, because the video doesn't explain it. And, honestly, if I was in that situation myself, and I had a situation that, as he later exclaimed himself, that I took an L in, which I personally have never done. I don't even understand why this guy would post it. I don't even understand why this dude would post it. Make the lawsuit, do whatever you got to do if that's how you feel. But if that's how you feel, you should have taken the ride in the beginning anyways. It just something doesn't add up there. When you have to look at every corner and have to ask a question at every single corner, something doesn't add up. There's got to be something missing. Exactly. That's what I just said, Steve. Absolutely. I couldn't agree with you anymore. I don't know the whole story. I'm not bashing him. And what I just explained, I'm simply asking for the reason. There's got to be something missing. And it's just crazy. It's just crazy that he, would send you to this program. I'm curious as to see, would Attorney Shield tell Sean Paul Reyes especially, or their clients, to give up their video and give up their rights in the face of adversity, in the face of tyranny? If he had called, would they have agreed and just said, "Yep, do it"? It raises a lot more questions. This video raises a lot more questions than it answers. So I'll let Sean Paul Reyes take it from here again.
Or you're going to go to jail and we're going to seize your camera from you. I said, well, this is actually really escalating here. Can we get a supervisor on the phone? Can we get a supervisor here? He's like, well, supervisors are busy right now. I was like, this is kind of important. This has to do with my constitutional rights. And Deputy Bassi says, well, let me get one on the phone. So he calls a Deputy Chief, Christopher Cavelli. Deputy Chief Christopher Cavelli tells, according to, Deputy Bassi, the Deputy Chief told him, give him 2 options. One option, erase the footage from his camera. The second option is he will be arrested for obstruction of justice. Those were the exact words by Deputy Bassi. For personal reasons, as you guys all know, I have taken, I think, about 11 unlawful arrests in the last 4 years. I've beat all the criminal charges against me, filed several federal civil rights lawsuits. For personal reasons, I couldn't just take this one. I never want my freedom taken from me. For personal reasons, I couldn't take this one specifically at that point in time. So under duress, I erased the footage from my phone. But that's not where the story ends, because I will always hold tyrants accountable no matter what. So I want to show you guys something. Earlier today, I went to the Northern District Court.
So now again, look, I understand absolutely, and if he feels this strongly, he should have absolutely went and filed lawsuit, absolutely, without question. But if that's the case, and you know you're dealing with tyrants, and you know that he just talked to the supervisor, and now you know the way he feels is you have two choices. You either delete the video or go to jail for obstruction of justice. Why in that case are you going to make the decision to delete the video? That makes no sense. You know that now you cannot trust these guys to ever play by the rules ever again from there forth. So why are you going to get rid of the only piece of evidence that could save your life? They could be I just don't think the biggest thing I want to point out is me as a person that does this. In this situation, now you know you are, in your own words, dealing with tyrants that are not going to be playing by the rules. Why would you delete your only bit of saving grace, your only bit of evidence that you have? These guys could have been done with Sean Paul Reyes. They want to make a name for themselves. They could be done. These guys could be psychopaths. With the way that I've seen some different cops act with Sean Paul Reyes, being as big as he is, with being sprinted up on and ganged up on, and telling people to tell them to put your hands against the wall. Why would you get rid of your evidence? You know that these guys are crazy. If these guys could have been done and wanted him dead and been waiting for him to cut off his camera, delete the footage, and who knows? Shot him, tased him, beat him. Who knows? I just wanted to say, all I want to say by this is I'm extremely, extremely surprised that A, Sean Paul Reyes would do this in the first place, but B, that he would even post the story and talk about it online. Because it just goes against everything. It just goes against everything. Why even talk about it? It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense, man. That's all I got to say.
In the United States District Court for the Northern District of Illinois Eastern Division, see here, May 27th, received Sean Paul Reyes v. Deputy Michael Bassi, Assistant Director Jeff Ross, Deputy Chief Christopher Cavelli, individually, and Lake County, Illinois, a municipal corporation. So the federal lawsuit, and as you can see here, it's been assigned a judge, has a case number, everything. This is about 15 pages. I wrote this over my Memorial Day weekend. I was not going to let them get away with it. Not at all. Tyranny will never win. We will always hold tyranny accountable. What Deputy Bassi did was completely unacceptable. As I'm erasing the footage, I erased it all from my gallery. Then I go to walk away and he says, no, come back here. Go into your recently deleted, your trash folder, and delete the footage from there. So again, under duress, under threat of arrest for obstruction of justice. The problem is that the order that he was trying to enforce, well, I guess he really wasn't trying to enforce an order. He was trying to enforce the statute of obstruction of justice. But there was a court order. And once I became aware of the court order, I received notice of this court order. It was a court order that talks about there's no filming in court facilities, and courtrooms and environs of the court facility. I'll be honest with you guys. I've never heard of an environment.
So again, as he just explains, that he further knows that this court order is a bunch of BS and shouldn't even be, and it isn't even worth the paper it's written on anyways. He goes further into explaining that it almost sounds like he's making up this story that this officer, oh no, after you deleted it, no, now I want you to go into the recently deleted on your phone and delete it, and in the trash and any other media. Like, it almost sounds fake. It almost really sounds fake. It doesn't even seem real. Like, I look up to Sean Paul Reyes, absolutely, and I don't want you guys to think I'm bashing him, because that's the absolute truth. He is a very knowledgeable guy. And this is the first time I have ever seen him act or do anything like this. But it's just absolutely mind-blowing that this is real, that this actually happened. It doesn't even make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. Yes, the meta glasses too. I mean, if that's the case, then why not? If that's the case, then why has he not shown the meta glasses footage? If that's the case, then I mean, I don't know. That would be my story for sure. That would be a great thing, and that's honestly something I'm looking into investing to in the future. But it just almost doesn't even make any sense to me. It just almost doesn't even make any sense to me. Yeah, and honestly, if I was put in that situation, all I would do is I'm going to turn the footage around. I'm not going to go live. You might not hear from me for a little bit, but this is why I have a backup phone that I either take with me, leave in my car, hidden somewhere while I'm out recording, or I leave it at home because all my footage is sent directly to the iCloud right away. So if I go to jail and they seize my phone that I have on me, I come back home and I have my phone anyways, and I go right to the iCloud and I get the footage and I'll post it for you guys. So all I would do if I was in that situation, I would have kept filming and turned the phone around and said, all right, guys, well, clearly I'm dealing with some tyrants and they're not going to be playing by the rules and they're looking to arrest me here. They're giving me two choices. So I'm going to choose the side of calling their bluff. I'm going to turn around and say that's going to be it. So they're either going to arrest me now or they're not. And I would turn my phone off. I would power it all the way off. And I would wait for them to either arrest me and take me down to the jail and seize my property like they said they were going to, or I'd just turn the camera back on in a few minutes and call their bluff, and it would be over anyways. Because either way, I'm going to have the footage. I'm never going to fold to that kind of pressure, that kind of absolutely tyrannical pressure. It doesn't even sound real. How are you going to let this guy make you go into your phone and then no into your recently deleted too? We want to see, like, how does that even make any sense? And you're sitting there explaining that this court order is BS. It's mind-boggling. It's crazy.
On before, I've never heard of that term before, especially how it was being used. I always thought it was something that was attached. I wasn't familiar with it. But then the sign, not the court order, ironically enough, there was a QR code on the sign that says to not record. So you pull out your camera and you scan the QR code. And I read the actual order, and it doesn't describe an environ as a probation lobby. It describes it as hallways adjacent to courtrooms, jury rooms, things of that nature. But the sign itself said, the sign itself that was posted defined the adult probation as this environ, right? And environ, excuse me, I'm saying that wrong. Environ, there you go. Environ. So it described the adult probation as an environ. So I was like, let me consult my attorney. Let me see what's going on here. I don't want to willfully violate an administrative order, even though I feel it violates my First Amendment rights. Let's regroup, let's leave. That's when we went outside on the public sidewalk, and he made me erase my footage, even from the public sidewalk. He did it all. He instructed me this one, this one, this one, and this one. He went to prior videos, and he was like, oh, those are good. Just anything that has to deal with this incident right here needs to be erased according to my supervisor. So I'm filing.
That's crazy. That's crazy. And he even allowed him to go into the other videos in his phone and say, no, I don't like this one. Yeah, this one's good. No. And yeah, that's fine. How ridiculous is that? What kind of law or anything permits an officer to do something like that? Nothing. This is why it's just so crazy. And I had to say something about it. I had to say something about this. I really, it's incredible. It's incredulous. I can't even find the right words for it. Rarely am I at a loss for words. And Sean Paul Reyes, man, you really, really surprised me and took my words away with this one. Who said he doesn't still have the video of it, the angry vet? I don't know if you've been here for the last 23 minutes and 50 seconds, but that would be Sean Paul Reyes. So maybe go and rewind the video a little bit, and where he says that he no longer has the video to show us, and then you'll educate yourself and answer your own question.
I filed a federal civil rights lawsuit against the defendants and Lake County for a First Amendment violation, Fourth Amendment violation, and 14th Amendment violation because they denied me due process. They forced me to erase footage from my camera without due process. They violated my Fourth Amendment right to be protected against unreasonable searches and seizures, and my First Amendment right to record in public and engage in journalistic activities, freedom of press. So now we are here right outside the Lake County. They haven't been served yet. I paid the $405 to the district court today.
And honestly, Sean Paul Reyes, man, I dropped while you were in this live, I dropped my email. I dropped my number. You can hit me up, bro. I was as soon as I get my car back, I was actually one of the places I was looking at, so we can go back to doing some regular FAPA dispensary content. I'm going to be heading out to possibly Ohio or Maryland. Those are the two places that I was looking at next. I'm keeping it up on the East Coast because unless I go all the way to the West Side, then that's, I'm in no dispensary land here. And it's been a minute since I've been able to go get a couple good dispensary videos. So I want to take it back to that for you guys. So, Illinois being right in the area that I was looking at going, man, Sean Paul, you hit me up if you want me to back you up. But man, I was really thinking about this after I saw this, man, I'm really thinking about going down to Illinois without a doubt.
As you could see, $405 when your rights are violated, you have to pay $405 to file a civil rights lawsuit. And then I also paid $400 to a process server to serve all four defendants in the case. So that will be done in the coming days. They don't know about this lawsuit yet, I would assume. Well, if you're watching now, Lake County government officials, now you're on notice, but you'll be getting it formally soon. I also they had body cameras on, and I did speak to the deputy chief after this incident inside of the courthouse. So they had body cameras on the entire time. So I'm requesting the body camera footage. I have that FOIA request right here, and I have an official complaint for internal.
And this guy knows. Now, after hearing from the supervisor that he's going to be arrested for obstruction of justice if he doesn't go in and allow this officer to view and decide on which ones he wants in his phone and which one he doesn't. That after this, now you're going to go and FOIA request and go and start an internal affairs complaint. And, you'll soon find that they investigated their own officers and they found no wrongdoing, as the saying goes. And it's just crazy. So, you can't trust them in the beginning, in the time you're worried about being arrested. And then you just go and try to play by the rules. And what makes you think they're going to play by the rules then? What makes you think they're going to play by the rules after? It's just mind blowing.
Affairs against the deputy. So let's go do that together. They thought that I was just going to roll over and take them violating my rights.
Thank you very much.
And deleting my private property from my phone under threat of arrest.
And a new member too.
I want to show you guys here so you guys know I'm not playing around. I spent my whole Memorial Day weekend writing this lawsuit. I think my address is somewhere in here, but you could see, I'll show you guys the last page. Again, 3 violations here, already filed with the district court. This is probably the fastest lawsuit I've ever filed. Within, a weekend it was filed. So let's go in here and file our complaint. You always got to take the proper steps to holding tyrants accountable. Lobby here.
Wayne Brown.
Let's see if we could speak to somebody. Hey, how are you, sir?
Bert, I can't.
Let me go.
Me in here, brother.
How you doing, sir? I would like to speak to a supervisor regarding a complaint, a patrol supervisor.
Patrol supervisor? Well, highway patrol is in this building.
I'm sorry?
No one from highway patrol is in this building. They're over in Libertyville.
No one's in this building?
Not for highway patrol.
Absolutely.
No, not highway patrol. I'm saying I need a supervisor. I'm trying to file a complaint.
Okay.
Thank you.
And you would think that in the same county, probably within a couple minutes of where he was at, you would think that with the heinous crime of recording outside the building of wherever he was at, you'd think with this such heinous crime, you'd think that they'd practically be jumping on Sean Paul Reyes here, coming in with this fully loaded assault camera right in the main lobby of this building. You'd think they'd tackle him right to the ground with how they had to immediately confiscate his phone and, choose whether or not what videos fit their liking and which ones didn't. It's just crazy. It's just crazy. So they already know that this is a bunch of BS. It's crazy.
All right, so here's the problem. On 521, Sean Paul report was heard. On 542, we called the end of the sheriff's office.
How's the live stream, guys? Is it you guys can hear me okay?
Pretty good so far.
This is the Lake County Sheriff's Department in Illinois. Yes. This is live right now, just in case you guys are perfect. Would be good. So this is then I
Sorry.
written out already. So this is my complaint I have written out already. The FOIA request and the federal lawsuit here.
That's why we're here.
I was never more upset during an audit than I was when I was forced by some tyrant deputy to erase the footage from my phone. And again, normally I would take the arrest, but for personal reasons, this time I couldn't do it, which is why it frustrated me even more. I felt helpless. You know, when a man with a gun and a badge is threatening to put you in shackles and seize your camera and put you in a jail cell. Thank you. I appreciate you. Appreciate it. When somebody's trying to violate your rights, is violating your rights, and there's nothing you can do about it. I felt helpless. I felt angry, sad, every emotion, mostly frustration and anger that I was allowing this tyrant deputy, which is why I worked on this lawsuit, 15-page lawsuit here, all week Memorial Day weekend here in Illinois. I'm going back to Long Island tomorrow, so I had to get this done. Let me show you guys.
So now here he just goes and explains, you know, he doesn't really get into depth on what much of the statutes are. But, you know, at the end of the day, he did the right thing. He followed through. You know, if that's what you're going to do, if that's how you're going to handle it, then what you need to do is file the lawsuit at the end of the day, I guess. But he's got to, with how this turned out, with how and I don't want you guys to think that I'm bashing Sean Paul Reyes here, because I look up to him and he's a very smart dude. He has been putting out the best content, the most viewed content. Look, he's got way more views and way more people following him than me. So, but for him to do something like this, he's either missing or not putting out a very, very key piece of information about the whole story, or he's got a big trick up his sleeve. And I really, really hope it is the latter of the two, because, you know, maybe he's just putting it on for the courts because he is as big as he is. So maybe he's just putting it on as if he doesn't have any other video. And he's going to file this lawsuit and he's going to see how this city or how this county is going to handle the paperwork and what they're going to try to defend and how they're going to try to defend it. If they're going to try to deny the allegations of him making, you know, the officers making Sean Paul delete the footage off his phone. And realistically, man, I really, really hope that you got a trick up your sleeve, because I would really, really just hate to think that you just rolled over as easy as it sounds like you did on everybody here watching. Everybody, you're one of the biggest and most influential in this space. But you're not the best of the best. You're not FAPA, but that's okay because nobody else is. And it is what it is. Man, I can't even get over the fact of how this man reacted in this situation. He must have a trick up his sleeve. And, you know, Sean Paul Reyes, I hope you don't take it as a bash, man. Hit me up if you feel like it. I just wanted to put the situation out there and try to get the FAPA fans to put in their own dialogue and see if they agree with what I'm saying. And, you know, I'll put the link in the description to the video, and you guys can go and tell Sean Paul Reyes how you feel yourselves and tell him that FAPA sent you. But, you know, kind of crazy. And Sean Paul, I hope you have a trick up your sleeve, man. We all do, because we really, really hate to think that you would do something like this under good conscience and under a clear conscience. So again, everybody, thank you all the FAPA fans for being here. If you're not already subscribed, first of all, thank you for being here. And second of all, make sure you go subscribe and turn on those bell notifications to never miss the latest and the greatest from the best to the best. We'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.